Senate Majority Whip, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso. Senator, great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to start with the price of oil. Price of oil, crude oil, is up 27% in a week. You are from an energy state. What can you do as an elected official to rein in prices?
Well, I was with a number of Wyoming ranchers yesterday in Wyoming, and when the price of gasoline goes up, it's a concern for food because the ranchers say, hey, it costs more to produce that food. But fortunately, Wyoming is America's energy breadbasket, and we are producing massive amounts of energy, and America is now energy dominant. We are no longer so dependent upon the Middle East as we have been in the past, and this is because of President Trump's policies. His drill, baby, drill is working. America is now the #1 producer of oil in the world. We're setting record numbers. So what's happening now in the Persian Gulf, yes, prices are up. I think they're not going to spike as high or stay as high as long as if we didn't have such a dominant position in the world as we do now in America because of America's energy position. The real loser in what's happening in Iran right now, Maria, is China. China is losing because they take so much energy from Iran and also President Trump's action in Venezuela. China's gotten lots of cheap oil from Venezuela. They bought it at a discount. So China is really set back significantly. We need to continue to produce American energy, American oil, gas, and also coal, uranium for nuclear power. American energy is the fundamental solution to our problems.
So you agree with the president that this is a temporary spike and oil will come back down, plummeting back down with well enough time ahead of the midterm elections then, where people are worried about affordability and the Democrats are trying to pin it on you, the Republicans, for higher prices?
Well, we promised to make America safer and more prosperous, and we are doing both of those things. Affordability is key. People are going to see that in terms of their tax returns. Refunds are about $1,000 higher a year this year because of the Working Families Tax Cut law. All of these things are trying to put more money in people's pockets. Energy is a big part of it.
All right, let me get your take on the response from the Senate on some of the president's proposals, including the president wants a $1.5 trillion defense budget in 2027. We are also expecting the Pentagon to ask for a supplemental defense package of some $50 billion. Has that been requested yet?
No, that hasn't been requested yet. Maria, first, the world is safer today because of President Trump's decisive actions in Iran. This is a 47-year war of Iran against the United States, killing our people, stockpiling missiles, terrorism. And because of President Trump's actions, we are safer. I heard from a Gold Star mother lost her son in Iraq because of an Iranian IED. She said, please thank President Trump for making the world safer. And yes, I do support a supplemental. I do support what the president is talking about. As he has said, we are well stocked right now. I want to make sure we have what we need, because in the Biden administration, they did not fund the military the way they should have. That's what happened when President Trump got into office. He moved toward that right away in terms of stockpiling things. In the Working Families Tax Cuts law, we put an additional $156 billion into military for modernization, for missile defense, for the Navy. And I expect something to come from the president to Congress. I'm going to support it. We need to make sure that our warfighters have the most up-to-date military equipment possible. Here in Wyoming, we have the F.E. Warren Air Force Base, part of our nuclear defense. That's being modernized. The message being sent today to Russia, to China, and our adversaries around the world is this is what American peace through strength looks like.
Well, look, the president has been very clear. He will not sign anything until the SAVE Act passes. So let's talk about that for a moment. Is there a will within Senate leadership to get that Save America Act to the floor?
Yes, I support the Save America Act. It's just common sense. You want to make sure that only citizens can vote. You want to make sure that when people show up, they have a photo ID to prove they are who they say they are. You need a photo ID to buy a beer, to board a plane. All of those things And it's 90% popular with the American people. The only people against this are the Democrats because they want to make it easier to cheat. We're going to have a vote on this. But in terms of what the president's willing to sign, Maria, we need to get the Department of Homeland Security funded. The Democrats have blocked that right now. And the greatest threat to the American people today is terrorism. So I want to make sure that the Democrats work with us to pass and fund the Department of Homeland Security, because I'm worried about the lone wolf, these sleeper cells, and the cyber terrorism that's coming our way because of what Iran is telling people around the world to do to continue this reign of terror.
Understood. So it sounds like we can't do anything on the SAVE Act until the Department of Homeland Security is opened and funded. Is that by design by your colleagues on the Democrat side?
You know, the Democrats are against so many of the things that I think help this country. They'd rather stand with illegal immigrant criminals than with the safety and security of the American people. I want to get the SAVE Act to the floor. I want to have a vote. That's the next step on this. Need to get the Department of Homeland Security open and funded. The Democrats are bowing to the liberal left, the people that want to eliminate ICE, the people that want open borders again, and the people that really aren't looking out for the best interest of the American people. As the president said in the State of the Union, it is the first duty of the American government to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. But that's what not one single Democrat stood up for that when every Republican stood and cheered loudly.
All right. So will you support a talking filibuster to get the SAVE Act to the floor? Will you and John Thune do it?
That's one way to do it. Members are having meetings right now to say, what's the best way that we can actually get this passed? I met with the president at the White House about 10 days ago, the day before the bombing started in Iran, to work on finding the best path forward. We need to get this passed. We need to get it signed into law. I am a full supporter.
Okay. Senator, it's good to have you this morning. We so appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Senate
Maria.
Majority Whip, Senator John Barrasso. Up next.